Hey guys, in this video I want to give you some ideas on how to find clients online. So I'm going to go through all the different methods of lead generation that can help you find clients online, and I'm going to kind of like grade them and talk through the pros and cons of each. So things like finding clients via Upwork, finding clients via cold emailing, messaging founders and CEOs on LinkedIn or on Facebook. All those things I'm going to cover in this video. So it's going to be quite extensive, and by the end of it, you're going to have a clear idea on how to find the design clients and basically bring those deals, being for a full-time job position, a part-time job position, or a fixed project or freelance gig. This is going to give you all of the resources which should be able you to get to these clients. And also an important thing is the differentiation between like someone who's first starting out and someone who already has maybe like a couple of years of experience under their belt, or maybe they've been doing it for a long time. All of these methods work. Just keep in mind that if you're just starting out, you're probably going to earn less, or actually most likely you're going to earn less because maybe you're looking for your first internship or your first junior designer job position. So these are definitely something to keep in mind. The more experience you have, also when it comes to like marketing or actually sales, and all that, the more money you can make. But all these methods work if you actually take the time to dive deep into them, practice, and do the actual work. So without further ado, let's jump on my computer. All right, guys. So let's get started with the very first one, which is Upwork. And so many people have talked and questioned about Upwork, and I want to tell you like my honest opinion on it. And I think that Upwork, generally speaking, is a great place in order to find good clients, but there's a big catch. Once you have a really good profile. So before that, Upwork is almost freelance hell, because essentially it's going to be very difficult to find projects, especially at first when you don't have any reviews or any information on your Upwork profile. So you really need to build that up. So the way I'm seeing Upwork is almost like a long-term investment. And there's also some cons after you build like a really good profile, but I'm going to talk about it in just a moment. But the initial months on Upwork, and ideally maybe like your first 6 months to a year, it's just going to be like an upfront investment where you're working to build up the profile more than actually making money via Upwork. So the reason being is that even if you have a lot of experience and you hop on Upwork and you have like 10 years of experience, for some reason clients just they really focus on the reviews. The Upwork algorithm also works in a way that favors people who have more experience on Upwork and all that. But more than that, it's just like the clients, they really look at the reviews. And the big catch with Upwork is the fact that you really have to be cautious as to which type of clients you work with, because there are a lot of the clients in Upwork, they're just not good clients. You won't be making like a lot of money with them, and they can potentially be a huge pain. So I would say that Upwork is good once you build up a good profile. I never been to that stage simply because I didn't want to put in the time to build up my profile that well. And also the fact that Upwork is taking quite a significant percentage from the work, that's kind of like a no-no. So it's definitely something to consider. And I have some friends of mine who are on Upwork. They're not only like designers, but they're also working in marketing, so SEO, those kind of spaces, and they built like 6-figure businesses on Upwork. Consulting practices and all that. It just takes quite a bit of time. So it's not to disregard altogether, but if you want to get like some really good work, faster without having to like build up your profile and doing all that. And especially you have to on Upwork, one thing which is really important is that you have to be really strong in the sales goal. So you have to really qualify the client with strong questions, I would say. So you really want to be sure that they're not wasting your time, essentially. So that's my take on Upwork. Let's go to the next one, which is TopTal. Personally, it's my favorite way to find clients nowadays. And I'm actually working 30 hours a week with a client on TopTal at the moment. Great client, really good pay. And the thing with TopTal is that I don't have to deal with the bureaucratic stuff, the negotiating of sales, the figuring out if they're a good client or not, because they're so selective on who you work with. And they streamlined all that process for you, so you don't even have to talk about money and the negotiating and all that. So it makes your life easier. And I would say TopTal is great if you're looking for a full-time job, a part-time job online. And there are also clients who are looking for hourly client work. But yeah, I can only speak really well about TopTal. I don't want to just speak well because I want to endorse them or anything. They also have an affiliate link which can make me a lot of money, if like good money, if someone enrolls with it. But I'm not going to leave it in this video description simply because I want to be I don't want to make it sound like I'm just talking good about TopTal because I can get that percentage. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. TopTal, great place to find clients. The catch is you have to have experience, and it's not something which is suitable for like juniors, I guess, or people, designers who are just like right out of college, or it's going to be more tailored to people with experience. So something to keep in mind about TopTal. But overall, great place. Another thing that you have to keep in mind when you're applying to TopTal is the fact that it takes a long time in order to apply. And at the beginning, to be honest, I didn't really feel it was all that much like good as an ROI, because I was thinking, okay, it's just going to be like a quick interview and I'm in. But in reality, the whole process lasted almost like a month. And I had to go through several interviews and also a design project which took almost around a day to complete. I can't remember exactly, but it was maybe like 6-8 hours. And basically they want to be sure that the designers who are on TopTal are really good. So this is definitely something which is a positive, because it demonstrates the professionalism of the company, which is something that for example, Upwork is not doing, because you can apply on Upwork and you're in even if you have close to no skills. So with TopTal, it's a higher level game. So my best recommendation is if you can't get into TopTal right now with your current skill set, try to make it a long-term goal to get into TopTal, because if you, and this is especially if you want to work remotely, because it's really going to help you find like some good quality clients. And the clients on TopTal, for the most part, from what I see, it's mainly like part-time and full-time clients. You also have clients who are looking to or just looking for like hourly freelancers. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. And basically, once you enter into TopTal, you're going to have a dashboard where you're going to be able to see all sorts of job postings, and then you can apply. But it's a pretty straightforward process. They have like this rock solid dashboard for everything that needs to be taken care of for the payments, invoicing, and all that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I would say this is my best recommendation at the moment, because you're going to get good clients without having to do all of the like sales and marketing work. The drawback is that of course you cannot like it's more difficult to get like a really high paying fixed projects, although I don't think it's really the case. Like I have some friends who don't go on TopTal because they're like, hey, like they're taking up a lot of fees. So you if you approach a client of that tier directly, you can make more money. Yeah, but it's more difficult to kind of approach, especially like more enterprise corporate clients directly. It's totally doable. Don't get me wrong. Like I've done it plenty of times in the past, but you need to do more active outreach and sales. And present solutions, proposals, and all that stuff. So if you want to avoid more of that stuff, my recommendation is TopTal. I would say it's great if you're looking for a remote job. That's my point. But anyways, if you're not into TopTal, you can always get clients the old-fashioned ways, and that is with cold emailing. Now, my best advice when it comes to cold emailing is try to be genuine, natural. Aim for a quick email which shows everything that the potential client needs to know. So give a link to your portfolio, try to add some value, try to get them on the call as fast as possible, because emailing and messaging back and forth is not the ideal way to close a client. So that's definitely something to consider. And keep in mind that follow-ups are extremely important when it comes to cold emailing. And it's definitely something which I would recommend you to set up possibly automatically if you can. So this piece of software, this GMass, it's something that can save you like so many hours, and it costs like $12 a month. So it's like super cheap compared to the amount of time that you can save. You can always like send follow-ups by hand, so manually, but it's going to take you like so much time. I did it in the past, and it's no fun, guys. Just don't abuse like the automatic follow-ups. But basically the way it works, and again, guys, I'm not leaving like a link in the description, like an affiliate link. I don't care. Both these websites have affiliate links. I know the moment I send one, you're gonna think like, oh, you're just doing it for the money. I don't care. So this is literally like what I used. Just don't abuse it, because if you send more than X amount of emails, I don't know exactly the number, you can get your Gmail disabled, and it happened to me in the past. So don't abuse it. I'm talking from experience. And yeah, basically you set up your very first email, and then you can send like some automatic follow-ups. The automatic follow-ups, like just send like 2 or 3 at max. Like if someone is interested, after like 2-3 emails, he's going to reach out to you. It's going to be rare that you're gonna like follow up 6 emails in, and the potential client will be like, oh yeah, I mean I totally missed all the other ones. It's likely that it's not going to happen. So I really recommend you to email in a way that tries to add value, doesn't come up like in a salesy way. Like there's no secrets. It's just about like doing it a little bit every day. So the way you do it when you're doing emails is you might want to go on websites like AngelList. Let me just search it over here. You can go on a website like AngelList, and I'm specifically looking. I can look at startup jobs, for example, and I can go over here and just contact these companies directly. Just keep in mind that if you're cold emailing like big companies like Yelp or Twitch or Facebook, it's likely that you're not going to get like a great ROI unless you're actually applying for a job. But if you're looking for maybe like a part-time client or doing like a freelance gig, I would highly recommend you to look at companies with maybe like less than 500 employees, ideally around 100. I would think it's the sweet spot, and always try to get the CEO or founder or one of the top managers of the company. So email them, and the way you do it is essentially by like the way you find those emails is with a software called Hunter.io, and it's a Chrome extension. I can show it to you right here. So if I go on a company I don't know, I'm just going to randomly just search for a company, to this one. Let me see if they have like a website or anything. Don't want to like start searching it on here. Yeah, for some reason there is no website, but anyways, regardless of where you go, you can simply click on Hunter, and basically if you go on the website of that specific company, and you click on this Hunter extension, which you can download for free from here, you can simply like Google search Hunter extension, then something like free. I mean, you don't even need like the free in that. Just Hunter extension, click here, you're gonna find it right away. So yeah, that's that. Add to Chrome. Then you go on the website of the company you want to apply. Click on the Hunter icon, and then you're gonna see like all sorts of emails right here. And sometimes it's also going to tell you like the role of that person. So in this case, it's telling me, hey, you're contacting the general, this is the email of the general manager at Dribbble, and you can just like copy it, put it in your email software, and then yeah, you send a good old email. So nothing too crazy, and basically you do that for a long time, meaning that every single day you allocate like 1 hour a day to actually send emails to potential clients. So essentially this is going to help you, first of all, build up a habit. Second of all, you're going to like this number is going to accumulate over time. So if you send just 5 emails a day, after 10 days it's like 50 emails. After 30 days, which is a month, it's 150 emails. That's a lot of persons. Like if you actually create a custom email for each and every one of them, not trying to like blast email, because I tried that as well like years ago. It doesn't work. Just a heads up on that. So don't do the classic like sales marketing approach, because it's something that used to work in the past. Maybe, but it totally doesn't work in 2020. So you want to create something which is tailored for your user, but at the same time you don't want to like overdo it, if that makes sense. So it doesn't need to be like an entire page, talking about like their blog post or whatever. It can just be like 1 or 2 or 3 lines, if you know what I mean. And basically you send just 5 emails a day or whatever number. Like if you have a lot of time, guys, if you don't have any clients, I would just do this like all day until you find clients, because the more you do it, the faster you're gonna get clients. So it's kind of one of those things that you can go wrong by doing it more if you do it sensibly, like with your head sensibly. So that's that, and it worked like a charm. I made I really made a good amount of money with cold emails, and the most important thing is that I actually created like a really good relationship with people, because it's not like you're bothering these individuals. Like some agencies, they're really looking for like your service, your design services can bring a lot of value. So they're happy to be reached out. They're happy when a good quality provider comes and solves a problem. Like you're not bothering them with these things. So that's something to consider. So you do it a little bit every day, and then your results are simply going to come. Now let's talk about the next one, which is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, to be honest, I don't have a lot of experience with it. I know some people are killing it with LinkedIn. I myself, I never really tried it much. What I know from talking with some friends of mine who are making like 6 figures and reaching out via LinkedIn is that you need to be, well, first of all, selective, but like with cold emails, it's the same thing. Like you want to reach the CEOs and the founders on LinkedIn. You don't want to talk with someone who just arrived as an intern in a company, of course. You always want to talk with the decision makers, like regardless of the method. And with LinkedIn, again, it's, from what I heard, it's a numbers game. It works like a charm if you actually create, like, if you're like really niched. And I guess it's more or less like the same concepts as the email one. But I would say, guys, like, it's also, it doesn't really depend a whole lot on which method you use, as long as you really stick to it and you make it work. Like, even as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, like you can make a good amount of money on Upwork. Like, if you have a profile with like a whole lot of reviews and you have a lot of money made through Upwork, and your portfolio looks great and everything, you can actually get reached out quite often by clients. So you don't even have to like apply for jobs anymore. You simply have like referrals and clients. That it just takes time. Like, there's I want to make something clear, and that is that there isn't like the get rich quick like method in design. And I tried to search for it for many years, to be honest, but I couldn't find it. It's all about like building relationships and trying to be genuine with your potential clients. And just treating them like humans. I mean, you're in business for a reason. You want to help other people, and they're in their business because also they want to help other people or other businesses. So it's just about like figuring out how you can create like a win-win situation between the two of you. So that's that. And Facebook. Okay, this one is this one is an interesting one, because if for example you're working in a specific space, let's say that like in my case, I only work with tech companies, and I work with a lot of like SaaS companies. So basically that's a subscription as you go, and I can literally go on Facebook, search for SaaS, and I'm gonna see like a whole bunch of groups related to SaaS. So one thing that I can do is to, well, first of all, try to be active in the group, but without selling. So you want to give some value in the group, and these groups like this one, they have like 20,000, more than 20,000 members. So it really is a lot of people. And if you start trying to add value with like some good post, maybe you can like record a video on how to solve a problem that can be useful for these guys. This can really give you like a lot of exposure for free, essentially. So it's definitely something to consider. You always want to try and think about like your ideal client, and in which niches it operates, and then kind of like reverse engineer the road to get there. So in this case, Facebook can be really good because you have a lot of groups, and there's definitely like a lot of potential in Facebook. So again, guys, it's just about trying to think about like the best way to get somewhere, and then just going there, if that makes sense. But that might have sounded like super vague actually, but at the end of the day, it's this is the concept that I'm trying to say. Like, you have a client, an ideal client, and then there's you. Try and think about where is this ideal client and how you can reach them. And then the initial connection should be like a soft text that sparks their interest. It's almost like a stimulus that you give to that person to hop on a call with you, because they can see potential, and because you can give value to them. And then it's all about landing them on and figuring out on the sales call if you're a good fit for each other. And this is actually a very important point, because not every client is a good fit. And if you work with the wrong clients, I can tell you, it's a miserable experience. You're not going to like working remotely or as a designer, and it's just going to be bad. I actually, like this year, I actually fired 4 clients at this very start of the relationship because I already saw like some red flags. Like, I remember I had this one client which basically we started working together on his dashboard web app, and I decided to work in Figma, which is basically a design software that allows the client to hop on the design file, and he can see in real time what I'm doing, so he can basically like see. And usually I don't have like much problem with that, because most of my clients are busy. They don't they respect like my space, if you wish, so they don't like start looking at what I'm doing and keep tracking of everything. But this one client, it was like an hourly client, so it was just like some work here and there. Every time I started to work, he hopped onto the Figma file, like started looking at it, and started texting me like, "Hey, why is this like this? Hey, have you considered that?" And I couldn't even like finish the work. He was already like texting about like all the errors, and of course there were errors because I was working. So that's what you do. Like you go through a process and then you solve the problem. And basically that was an interesting experience. But all this to say that if you're not working with good clients, your business and your life is going to have like a huge impact. And guys, like nowadays, as a designer, you just maybe like need like 1, 2, 3 clients, and you're making like 6 figures. It's not that difficult. I mean, you can even have like 1 client and make 6 figures. But and again, guys, for those of you who are watching this for the first time, or maybe like they're starting out, it's going to take some time. I'm actually on track to make that this year very solidly. I have no doubts about it. But it took me like a lot of years. I'm 6 years in, so it wasn't like an overnight success. And last year I actually made quite a bit less. I think it was like 60, 70, around those lines. So yeah, that definitely takes time. It's doable. You can do it because good clients are actually looking for web designers, UI UX designers, and designers of all kinds to hire remotely, especially because they have a lot of advantages in hiring remote designers, because they don't have to pay for the office space. They don't have to pay for sometimes they have like advantages when it comes to like paying for your salary and all that stuff. So it can really be a great thing. But yeah, guys, it's all about assisting. But as we are going through all of these different ways to find clients, I would say you probably already understood like the general idea. It's just about like going at it, taking the time, and actually, like, if you're looking for a client today, take the time for the next weeks to do a little bit of lead generation. So this process, which I just explained, regularly, every single day, and because it's going to build up, and if you do it every single day, it's not going to be as difficult, because I know it's tedious. Like, for me personally, it's the stuff I really don't like to do, and thankfully I'm in a position now where I don't have to do it almost like never during the year. But when I do, it's kind of like the most boring part of my business. I don't like to reach out to people, have conversations with people I don't know, and all that. So I always have to push myself out of my comfort zone to do all this stuff. But it's so worth it, because it just you can get like some really good clients, you can build some amazing relationships, and have the business and the lifestyle that you want. Especially nowadays, where we're facing this global pandemic. It's really difficult to find jobs locally. You can still find them, I guess, and it depends on where you are. But especially if you're in a city or in a place where there aren't like a lot of big companies, but you're skilled, you have the knowledge to basically bring to the table to these big companies or even medium-sized companies or whatever. It can definitely be something possible to find jobs online and really good freelance projects. So I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, let me know with a comment below or a like to this video. I would really appreciate it, because it gives me motivation. Guys, at the moment I'm just looking at the monitor and facing this webcam. So it's not like I'm talking like I am talking to you directly, but whenever I see the likes and the comments, it really motivates me to do more of this, because it reminds me there's always like an audience on the other side of this, and I totally know it, but it's always like a good feeling. So I really appreciate it. Let me know if this helped, if you have questions, and how can I help more, essentially. So yeah, just let me know, and I will see you in the next video.